Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is another book review. This is going to be a book review on the Pet Sematary by Stephen King, who I buddy read a few months ago with a gal from the booktube community. The channel is called Veereads, and her and I had decided to buddy read this together. So I am going to just quickly go through the synopsis and then go from there. So, Pet Sematary. When the Creeds move into a beautiful old house in rural Maine, it all seems too good to be true. Physician father, beautiful wife, charming little daughter, and adorable infant son. And now, an idyllic home. As a family, they've got it all. Right down to the friendly car, but the nearby woods hide a blood-chilling truth more terrifying than death itself, and hideously more powerful. The Creeds are going to learn that sometimes dead is better. So, this book was a little on the slow side for me. I think that they could have, I don't know, shortened it a great deal more. I don't think they could have. I don't think the amount that it was drawn out was necessary, but this was a 4 out of 5 star reads for me, just mostly because of that. I can say on the scare scale, it wasn't scary at all, which is another reason why for the 4 out of 5 stars as opposed to the 5. But I did enjoy the book. This book actually stuck with me for months after I read it, and not because it was scary or anything else, but because of the events that took place. And I will try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, but honestly, the feelings that I got out of this book the most was sadness. I felt a lot of sadness reading through all the different events. I did feel some anger at one point, just because I don't want to give too much away, but basically, for those of you who don't know about the book, the premise is that the Sematary has special abilities and can bring things back from the dead, and it causes a lot of chaos, and people have experimented from just a lost pet to human beings. And this touches on a lot of subjects for me, because while death is difficult for everybody, and we've all, well, I've personally gone through it, and for anyone who has, it is not an easy thing to go through. However, what's meant to be will be, and that is a hard concept, even for me, especially during the hard times in my life, to live by. But I had a real issue with people bringing things back from the dead. You know, it's just not right. And I felt incredibly sorry for the people involved. I think, the most sympathy for the little girl out of the whole situation, just because in the end, she basically ends up being an orphan because of the choices that the family ends up making. And I just, like I said, most of it was a lot of sadness. I wasn't afraid of this book at all, but it was the actions that these people took and the emotions that went with it and the situations that followed and a lot of the consequences that ended up ensuing, that this book stuck with me for quite some time. And I'm a mom, so I definitely cried in some places just because of certain events. I don't handle negativity or negative situations with children very well, so it hits home for me. So overall, it was a good read. I did enjoy it. It was a very unique read. I can actually say, from one other negative point of view, that there was one little bit that I was actually really disappointed with. They explain how to achieve the end goal with the cemetery, but they don't go into a lot of history as to why it happens the way it happens. So I would have liked to have known more about the history of the cemetery and how things ended up the way that they are. I'm really into that kind of a backstory when it comes to novels, so I'd say that was my only real disappointment with it. So, but with that said, like I said, it was a fairly good read, and I would recommend this to anybody who wants to read something unique, but maybe having, I don't know, a really good, strong heart going into it would be advisable. So, thank you all so much for listening to this and checking out my channel. And it was a good read and it was fun, and I enjoyed doing the buddy read, and I hope to do more of those in the future. So I thank you all so much for checking out my channel, and I will see you all in the next video.